Hello, this is Meghnad and you're watching Sansad Watch, where we tell you what the leaders you elected are doing for you. Last month, the leaderest leader of them all launched yet another scheme which is supposed to make our collective lives better.
प्रत्येक भारतीय को हेल्थ आईडी दी जाएगी। ये हेल्थ आईडी प्रत्येक भारतीय के स्वास्थ्य खाते की तरह काम करेगी।
That's right. Other than Aadhaar, PAN, voting card, driving license, ration card, now we have a digital health ID. Prime Minister Modi had announced this new advancement from the ramparts of Red Fort in August 2020 last year, right when India was gripped by the coronavirus pandemic. After that, the implementation started on a pilot program basis in 6 union territories. And you know the weird thing? There are reports coming in that the health IDs have been created for some people without them even knowing about it. There is a very real chance that you, who is watching this right now, has a health ID too, and you might not know about it. Let's try and answer 3 questions today. 1. What is the health ID and how does it work? 2. What are the uses of this health ID? And number 3. What are the problems with this scheme? Let's talk about what it is and how it works. The idea is simple. A health ID is a 14-digit identifier which an individual can avail at zero cost to become a part of the national digital health ecosystem. Health records of an individual over time will be linked with this number. Access can be given to third parties on request. The third parties can be doctors, hospitals, clinics, yoga centers, insurance companies, pharmacies, NGOs, associations, and of course the government and various regulators. For instance, if you visit a doctor, you can just give your health ID and the doctor will get access to all of your past medical records and will also add to it based on the new treatment. After looking at the history, better treatments can be given to a patient. There are way more uses than just this, and I'll tell you about those in a bit. Now, a person can self-register for their health ID digitally. Just go to this address or visit a healthcare facility near you and ask them to make it for you. After the ID is created, the guidelines say that you will be given some protections. First, a person can choose to deactivate and reactivate a health ID whenever they want. The database will retain demographic details, but it will delete all linkages. The person will also be given an opt-out option, meaning a request can be made to delete all data from the database. The guidelines also say that consent needs to be given every time someone asks to access this data. Plus, a record of the consent given to third parties will also be maintained and can be seen by the user. Here's the fun part. A person can have more than one health ID to protect privacy. And on top of this, the guidelines say that this whole thing is completely voluntary and nobody will be prevented from getting treatment if they don't have this ID. But, there is always a but, certain government schemes can only be accessed if this person has an Aadhaar linked health ID. Again, does this sound familiar? Yeah, we'll come to that. Just wait for it. Moving on to the second question. What are the uses of this health ID and how is it supposed to help us? Well, one positive side is that you won't have to carry around physical reports and medical records whenever you visit a doctor. Plus, the doctor will know your history, which will save you from a lot of awkward conversations. So, it would lead to quicker and more accurate diagnosis. Second, this would help with telemedicine, basically Zoom call consultation. The doctor will be able to give e-prescriptions after looking at your e-medical records. Then you can e-order the medicine from your nearest e-pharmacy. Everything will be amazing. Third, on a larger scale, this data will be anonymized and analyzed to get a larger picture of the health situation of our population. For example, if a disease starts spreading in a particular locality and people visit their doctors, the doctors would enter the information about the disease diagnosis to individual health IDs. But the government can look at the overall data and see the spread, severity, and make preparations accordingly. It will also help pharmaceutical companies get an idea about which medicines they need to produce and stockpile, depending on the data coming from the ground. Fourth, Insurance companies will be able to use this data to set premiums more accurately and provide payments when required. All of this sounds absolutely heavenly, no? In an ideal world, due to this health ID, the patient gets everything done without hassle, doctors are able to diagnose quicker and more accurately, medicines are available quicker, and governments can come to the rescue when things get bad. But my dear friends, I'm sorry to tell you that we do not live in an ideal world. We live in a world where mysterious illnesses spread in Uttar Pradesh, killing kids, and nobody even talks about it. We live in a world where Dr. Kafil Khan is harassed and suspended multiple times because he helped dying children, and the court has to step in to save him. We live in a world where the government says that there were no deaths due to oxygen shortage. We live in a world where this guy is considered a healthcare professional.
तीसरा बोला मुझे डॉक्टर बनना है, टर 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 करते रहते, टर बनना है, टर.
Yeah, even this guy will be able to access healthcare data. Not kidding. So, let's get real, shall we? What are the problems with this scheme? First, say hello to Salil. He does the research for Sansad Watch, helps write the script, and is a generally enthu cutlet person. Now, Salil here decided to become a guinea pig and try to create a health ID for himself. I didn't tell him to, he just did it. He went to the website, clicked on generate your ID and then put in his mobile number. Currently, it is not mandatory to link Aadhaar with the health ID. You can create one with your mobile number as well. Salil picked that option, filled in the details and submitted it. To his surprise, he already had a health ID. Yes. How did that happen, you ask? Well, turns out Salil is not the only one who has a health ID and doesn't know about it. The government has automatically created health IDs for almost everyone who registered for COVID vaccination using the CoWIN portal. According to figures available with the National Health Authority, NHA, of the 12.4 crore digital health IDs that have been made, 12.2 crore were created through CoWIN, and like Salil, they were without consent. That is the problem number one with this whole thing. It looks like the government is doing what it did with Aadhaar earlier. Brought in the new thing, projected it as a technological marvel, the be-all and end-all solution to all problems, and did it without actually bringing a law in parliament. So, the government can basically tweak the policy whenever they want in order to make people get this ID, even if it means tricking them into it. So, there is no public oversight on this whole thing, so no accountability. There are other problems too. Just look at what happened with Aadhaar. There were IDs created for Pakistani spies Hanumanji, a chair and a dog, and some of them even got LPG cylinders and bank accounts. Last week, we told you the story of Jitna Kuwar. She died in 2019, but her Aadhaar was used to get a sanctioned house under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. I mean, whenever the government comes up with ID cards and starts giving services from it, it attracts one very specific type of criminal elements, scamsters. This ID could be worse than Aadhaar. Why? Because a person can create more than one ID. Okay, I don't know about you, but whenever my teacher in school used to ask me for a leave certificate from the doctor, a lot of people in my class used to get fake ones from family doctors. Not me, I was legit. I went to school, didn't attend class and hid in the playground like legit people. But you get the point, right? It is possible to create fictitious people with legit Aadhaar cards with health IDs on top of it. Enter some fake medical history and it opens up possibilities for all sorts of scams. Insurance, medicine, hoarding, you name it. Apart from all this, there is a bigger problem here and that has to do with your personal data. Let me introduce you to this wonderful thing called surveillance capitalism. This is an economic system centered around the commodification of personal data with the singular purpose of profit making. Meaning, your data will be monetized by someone else and sold in the market to make profits. That's how targeted advertising works. Now imagine the immense value health data of a chunk of population will have for, say, a pharmaceutical company or even an insurance company. The guidelines currently leave a provision open for this data to be anonymized and shared with stakeholders, which has both of these. What this means is that the government will collect citizen data with their consent, then anonymize it and provide it to various stakeholders in the national digital health ecosystem, which is this chart right here. Right. So the guidelines mention repeatedly that the individuals with health IDs will have two features. One, they have the option to opt out and get their information deleted. And two, they will be asked for consent every single time the data is requested by a third party. But again, in a country like India, where a dismal 3.8% of the country's GDP is spent on healthcare, where half the people don't have access to the internet, and only 38% are digitally literate, where the concept of consent itself is alien, these features are kind of meaningless. Don't believe me? Just ask Salil or go check if your health ID has been created without you even knowing about it. Chances are, if you used an Aadhaar to register on CoWIN, you already have one. Run along now. Check. Then come back because it's time for Know Your Neta. You guys wanted us to look at Jayant Sinha, a BJP MP from Hazaribagh, Jharkhand. He was first elected in 2014 and took the reins of the constituency from former finance minister and his father, Yashwant Sinha. Jayant Sinha is a proper Sharma ji ka beta, or should I say, Sinha ji ka beta. He studied chemical engineering from IIT Delhi. From there, he went on to the University of Pennsylvania to get his master's in energy management and later also decided to get a casual MBA from Harvard. He served as a partner in companies like McKinsey and Omidyar Network before getting into politics. As soon as he became an MP in 2014, Jayant assumed charge as a Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance. He worked closely with late Arun Jaitley on policies such as the PM Mudra Yojana and also piloted bills such as the Insurance Bill, Bankruptcy Bill and the Regional Rural Banks Bill in the Parliament. Jayant then moved to the Ministry of Civil Aviation in 2016, where he took charge to implement our government's first ever national civil aviation policy. NDTV reported that the reason cited for this move was Jayant's close relations with private investors, which seemed to have some conflict of interest. In 2018, there was a dramatic plot twist. His father, Yashwant Sinha, who had been the vice president of the BJP at one point and had very important ministerial berths in the Vajpayee government, called it quits. He just quit. He said that democracy was in danger under the BJP rule and he would be launching a nationwide campaign to save democracy. But amazingly enough, there was a reverse plot twist because Jayant continued to stay with the party and managed his portfolio at the Ministry of Civil Aviation till 2019. After that stint, he was made the chairperson for the Standing Committee of Finance. As a parliamentarian, Jayant's performance has been just about decent. Jayant has participated in just 14 debates in the current parliament, which is significantly lower than the national average of 25. His attendance stands at 85% and he asked 107 questions to the government so far. Moving on to his controversies. In 2017, Jayant made news for the wrong reasons when his name popped up in the Paradise Papers alongside people like Vijay Mallya. Jayant, however, later clarified, stating that his name had figured in the leaked list of businesses, which he had done when he was associated with the Omidyar network. He also said that all the transactions had been fully disclosed to the relevant authorities. I mean, ये छोटा मोटा tax haven and all तो चलता रहता है नहीं? But the biggest controversy was the one in 2018, where he garlanded 8 people who were accused of lynching Alimuddin Ansari, a meat trader. Hazaribagh MP Jayant Sinha was waiting for them with marigold garlands when they came out on bail, just waiting.
Union Minister Jayant Sinha has welcomed, in fact, garlanded men convicted of lynching a man. They killed him. This was a meat trader in Ramgarh in Jharkhand. The case dates back to 2017. The men were convicted by a lower court, but they're out on bail that's been given by the state's High Court. You can see these pictures of them on air being felicitated by the Union Minister for Civil Aviation. That's Jayant Sinha.
He later expressed regret, but people were furious, obviously. Slogans were raised against him in parliament when he got up to speak.
This is not the way. This is not the way. He is minister here. No. He is minister here. Sorry.
Even Yashwant Sinha went public stating that he did not approve of Jayant's actions. A year later, Jayant in an interview also revealed that BJP was footing the legal fees for the accused in this mob lynching case. Yeah. That, dear viewers, was your Neta for this week. If you want me to profile any more MPs that you think should be profiled, leave it in the comments below. Only vanilla MPs, please, no ministers. That's all I have for you in this week's Sansad Watch. Remember, if you want to make Parliament great again, you need to watch it first.
The subscription model is something that keeps News Laundry afloat, but we need hundreds of thousands of people to completely transform the news ecosystem. So you pay for news, so it serves you. So click on the link with this video, subscribe to News Laundry and pay to keep news free, और गर्व से कहो मेरे खर्च पर आज़ाद है खबरें.